They can be in this at any moment. They just gotta up their mental game, let their talent speak.
Amazing placement. What a shot.
That was a gutsy overhead.
Aspect of mental toughness here that's just different.
I like the body language of all four players.
Oh, look at that shot! Great hands from Kiro.
Hello and welcome to the 2022-23-24 APTA Tour presented by Bali. We are live from the Coverley Club in Rye, New York, bringing you the Milton Point Cup with live streaming brought to you by the APTA membership, the APTA national sponsors, Bali and Fusion. I'm Jerry Viant, along with Patty Hogan, bringing you the women's final between the number 2 seeds Roxy Enica and Elisaveta Lalic, and the number 1 seeds Florentina Hanisch and Anna Maria Zubori. And Patty, Happy New Year to you, and welcome to our first final of 2024.
Yeah, excited for the second half of the season and our 9th final of the year in women's play. It's been an exciting year so far, and Hanisch Zubori have regained their foothold with their really strong play recently, and I think they're the number 1 seed in this event. And then we have the new team this year of Enica, Lalic, who have a huge upside, as we have seen, and just took care of Delmonico and Gebbia in that semifinal. And I think we are looking for what could be like a real explosive match. Jerry, Enica Lalic started the season off with a roar, teaming up and winning Montclair. And, from there, we headed to Chicago, and then Hanisch Zubori regained their form and have taken over. So it's a real intriguing matchup here in January.
Yeah, and coming out of the break, we're not quite sure how much time either of these teams have spent on the court, but you can see the temperature is now much colder. Both teams, you've got a close-up look here of that's Florentina Hanisch on the left, hitting that slash overhead, and her partner Anna Maria Zubori. Both players have got multiple layers, and they've got a mitt on their hand. That's the first time I've seen that this season. Down the far end, that's Lisa Lalic, and Roxy Enica just went out of the screen, but there she is on the right-hand side. So you can see they're well bundled up. And Patty, that tells me it's going to be a different kind of game as opposed to the ball. It's going to be heavier, not as lively. It's colder, so it's not going to be coming out so far off the screens. And it's going to favor the players who like to hit off the deck. And keep your eyes out on Lalic and Zubori.
I was just thinking,
play off that deck.
Yeah, exactly that. You see, like Hanisch, everybody's watched her. She's a phenomenal player. Whether she's playing, creating, and she is real creative using the screens. Probably, one of the best in the women's game at that. And a beautiful captain, I'll call her, to this team with Anna Zubori, who has such a wide array of shots. If you haven't seen her, it's just unbelievable to watch the talent. They're looking to get back to the nationals, and they want to hold up that national title. And even though they've been on the road and traveling and all over, and they've been in some warmer climates, they came here not just to show. They came here to get to the finals, and then, they kind of anticipated the possibility of a matchup with the number 2 seed here, Enica Lalic, and they've got their wish.
Right, so that's their players are taking their serves, and Anna Maria Zubori on the left there. She is the director of racket sports at the Country Club of New Canaan in Connecticut.
And Jerry, go ahead,
Yep.
Jerry.
No.
Yeah, the path to the finals for both these teams. Jerry, want to tell us how they got here besides getting on 95?
Yep. I knew you were going to throw that in with the drive. Yeah, you could see Enica and Lalic. They only dropped 8 games to get here to the finals. They played Delmonico Gebbia. That was a rematch. They also played them in the semifinals at Montclair. So relatively handy trot to get to this point. And then we've got Hanisch and Zubori, and they only dropped 3 games. So I don't think the fatigue is going to be a factor. It's more, like you alluded to, is just adjusting to the time change and the temperature change, because both of these players were overseas during the break. And Florentina Hanisch, you probably can't notice, she was in Brazil getting a lot of sun. She's got a lot of layers on there. So, and Zubori, if you follow these guys on social media, you know where they've been. And but like you said, I'm sure they're here. They're here to get on with the season. The last 2 tournaments that they played, they have won. And these teams have met once before. That was at the Chicago Charities, and Hanisch and Zubori won that. But I expect to see some good points, some good structured points. I'm looking forward to this match, because we just called the semifinal match where Enica and Lalic really showed improvement in a lot of areas of their game. And we'll talk about that more as we get into the points. But this is the number 1 and 2 seeds for this tournament coming through.
And I anticipate, we talked a little bit in the semis about, the risk reward, and when you play more aggressive style, there's going to be some errors that go with that, where the play in the semis kind of was a little flat across the board, quite honest, where here, I think you said, it could be a roller coaster. We're going to have both teams, coming back from break, vacation, holiday, and so there's going to be some inconsistent play, I think, from both teams. But I like to go out on a limb. I'm going number 1 seed only because they know how to win with their B game, let's call it. If they kind of can go with tools to get them through a match or a matchup. And I just think that inexperience together as a team from Enica Lalic could hurt them in that regard. So, yeah.
Right.
I'm going with the number 1.
It's a good pick. They've got multiple ways that they can hurt teams. They've got multiple game styles that they can go to. And it's really about consistency and just believing and staying with that plan and not getting too creative right off the bat. And that goes for the other team as well. So we've got Anna Maria Zubori serving.
And the voice of our umpire, Mike Yahimski. He's done a wonderful job for the APTA. Mike's everywhere. Again, you saw the improvement in the overhead, the adjustment from Lalic there, letting that ball get really low in order to hit a really low ball into Hanisch's backhand out of that juice court.
It was very tempting there. Zubori took that high bouncing ball, didn't really have a weight balanced enough to spike that. Enica finds the hole. There's a break for the first game. Enica Lalic go up 1-love.
We're in Rye, New York. We've got lots of exciting APTA events every single weekend on our road to nationals. I look forward to nationals in Boston. Boston just amazing growth up there, Jerry, over the last decade, thanks to Johan Durant. And congrats to Johan on his being awarded the place in the Platform Tennis Hall of Fame, and that induction will take place nationals at Brookline Country Club, his former club. He is now on his own venture with Stephen Mitchell, resigned from that club, but has done an amazing job to make Boston such a strong paddle part of our country.
Yeah, this is the first time nationals is going to Boston, so they're all excited up there, and I'm sure all the players are looking forward to being back in the area. The Boston Open has been a staple on the APTA Tour as a Grand Prix, and they really run a first-class event. Spin overheads from Roxy Enica there. She has the ability with her big grip change, even with the mid on. She'll hit the roller and then she'll hit the cutter.
Jerry, I think she might have one of those Ella mitts on that allows her to play and hit those wonderful shots and stay warm at the same time.
Yep. Yeah, so with her different spins overhead, she keeps her opponents guessing and wrong foots.
Here's what that means. When you lob short or poorly, she's going to make you pay.
Nice dig by Hanisch there. That was not an easy ball. It got behind her.
We've seen in so many matches, break on a break, Jerry. It's not like the game used to be. There's breaks, but they have such firepower. It doesn't even faze them. They just move forward quickly.
That's trouble. Good pickup. You see Hanisch and Zubori they are seamless with their court coverage with each other. We'll watch as Zubori stayed back after hitting that hard overhead, and Hanisch cut the volley off.
After a break, serving is more difficult than you think because you only get one, and the temperature has dramatically changed since they've last been out there. You know, we saw we saw faults in that last semi, and not surprising.
Yeah, Hanisch has one of the better serves in the women's game. She just needs to get the rust off here. get her rhythm going. Oh, beautiful volley. Nice cover by Lalic. Hanisch was hesitating there, wasn't sure if it was going to be wide or not. When in doubt, always play it.
Enica got the look she wanted. She just didn't have to go for so much right there. Just pound, go right, straight ahead, just hit it. Make them volley.
It's so tempting. It's such a small court. You just want to move those drives one board at a time.
Because I think first final is second. I was just going to say, Jared, first final, second half of the season, you know, everybody's got to build their confidence again and get their rhythm, get their tempo, all of that. And that's why I do think you have to you got to play the score really early on in this. I think it's going to be key to a good start for either team here in this final.
Yeah, so it is tough. Coming back from the break, having not played enough, you do have to start again. You do have to build that. And also this is, you know, these are two teams that are both eager. You know, they're in this to get ready for nationals and win as many tournaments as they can on the way there. Like we said, they've only played each other once before, so not 100% sure of what both teams are looking at. You know, they're not like the teams that have been around for a long time and you know the shots, you know where their strengths and weaknesses are. This is a good point right now for both teams. They're both on a little, you know, search and destroy. Let's see who's going to come out too far, who's going to swing too soon.
It looks like early play from Zubori Hanisch going toward Enica, testing her, just seeing how steady she's going to be here in the early going, because I think we talked about Lalic, unforced errors take away faults in her semifinals. You know, one or two or three volleys maybe.
As we saw right there, the middle is not a safe spot against Lalic because she's got that two-handed backhand off the deck, which is just a bullet and accurate. So Hanisch and Zubori have got to be careful about where they place that ball. They're going down the middle.
Right, and I think that's why they're just going to zero in and keep it in Enica's corner in that ad court and not really hit that many balls into the middle of the court at all. Because I think besides the obvious, you know, factor of Lalic's two-handed backhand, it's her wingspan and her reach and her court coverage is phenomenal. She closes a gap like half of a step.
As Enica showing a lot of patience there. And they get the break. So we've got 3 breaks in a row.
And I think the key in this match for Enica Lalic is Enica. And she has shown up, and right away you can see she's playing really disciplined in the early going here and just kept all those balls in play, didn't go for anything. She missed that one forehand wide. I think she heard us. No, and then no other misses. And I think that's where, when she plays that way, it's going to bring Lalic into the match where, you know, she could influence some baseline play big time here against Hanisch and Zubori.
Yeah, she's got to cut down on those unforced errors, like you said. Be consistent and look for ways to not just set herself up, but also to cause the ball to swing over to Lalic.
We kicked off the season at Montclair on our first of our 16 stops on the APTA Tour, and that was the event. Enica Lalic beat Elliott and Burgos in the finals there. We went to Medina, where Morgan Sikora took the title. Morgan Sikora took the next title in Baltimore. Hanisch Zubori then stepped back up and big time win out in Chicago. Hugely difficult draw coming through there. All of a sudden, you knew they were back right there. And then we went to Cleveland, where Morgan Sikora grabbed another title. Hanisch Zubori then grabbed the next title at Philly Cricket, Jerry. Long Island, Morgan Sikora took out Elliott and Burris there in that final. And then Elliott won with Charlotte Sikora, teamed up out at Steel City to take the title out there. So we're lined up for a great second half of the season, Jerry. And, it'll be curious to see, going once we head into Short Hills. I think we're going to have a really good sense of how many teams on the women's side have a legitimate shot of winning the national championship.
Right, you see Enica is hitting all of her serves with that low push, trying to keep the ball low. In the first two serves, she got unforced errors out of Hanisch and Zubori. And that was a mistimed swinging overhead. And she had a fault before, so it's break point opportunity for Hanisch and Zubori. Little underhand. I think it's a much safer serve for her than that swinging sidearm serve that we sometimes see her use.
I think it is. I think if she pulls it out too much, I would expect Hanisch and Zubori to just step in and clock a ball at Lalic.
Well,
that's the danger of it.
Yeah, that's exactly what they did. Hanisch did there. She moved in closer and took that ball on the rise.
I'll be curious to see if Enica can go back and forth with those serves a little bit. And I love the old traditional overhead serve of Enica. I mean, early on, she had arguably one of the best serves in the women's game. Overhand.
Yeah, she started to go away from it because she was faulting a bit. Just a little too far back for that drive, and it's 4 breaks in a row. We're 2-all tied up for the first set of the finals here.
Who will hold serve first, Jerry?
Milton Point Cup.
Shout out to Ann Waldron, who's doing a great job, Jerry. You passed the torch. You set up our production and so much for all the live streaming over years, starting out in Pittsburgh, high up on the scaffolding. I remember it well. You saved my life that day, Jerry. Thank you so much. And Ann's taking the torch and doing a great job and a lot of work. 16 tour events to organize with a couple different production companies. It's a huge volunteer job that Ann Waldron's doing a wonderful job with.
She's doing
Shout out to Jackie Cameron. Yeah, and Jackie Cameron, our tour director. I've seen her walking between the courts here. Jackie does a wonderful job handling the matches, the scheduling, the adjusting, the players. She handles it all with a lot of grace.
Yeah, no, the APTA, that was one of the great initiatives that they put in, is when they started this APTA tour as assigning a consistent, tournament tour director to oversee all the events. There's a consistency about how all the events are run, and it's well done. All the pieces of the puzzle, multiple pieces all fall into place much easier. Shout out to our producer, Jake, from My Paddle, doing a wonderful job as always. Thanks, Jake. Keeping us on schedule.
It's almost like the three of us are sitting next to each other all the time.
All right, Hanisch, Zubori serving, 40-15, a chance to be the first player to hold serve. There you have it. You got that ball to die in the corner. And it's 5 games.
Volley is a proud sponsor of the APTA. As the first AI-enabled training experience, Volley modernizes racket sports by delivering the on-demand dynamic system for live play training and better workouts. Volley creates a community to connect pros and players while giving users personalized performance insights to track progress and customize their practice. Ask your pro about a Volley lesson today. For more information, visit getvolley.com. And thanks to the Volley machine, these players can go and travel and go all over the world, Jerry, and they can come back, set up that Volley machine, and boom, they can get a workout in an hour on that, even a half hour. That would be comparable to, playing an hour and a half of platform tennis.
Oh, yeah, reps you can get in that with that machine. Phenomenal.
15 all.
Talked about Lalic's serve in the previous match, but she's got a pretty big motion, and now she just dialed it back. Smart. She has her tennis serve where she's really jumping into the court, but you saw an adjustment there after she faltered. And then the trick is, the balance. You're changing the balance of your body. Let's see what kind of serve she uses here. Watch that front foot. No, she's back jumping, and she's got a good serve. Just throwing in a few faults in that first match.
Serving is one of those things, Jerry, where you can practice. Everybody says, "Oh, why don't everybody have a better serve? They can practice it by themselves. They don't need any help." You really need to have to serve in competition, and when you're, serving out there and you're just hitting, boxes of, your containers or your paddle balls or a water bottle, it's very different than looking up and seeing national champions on the other side.
Yes.
It's in real time only, I think.
For sure. I mean, when you're taking your practice serves, it's really good to have targets on the court, not just happy to hit your serve into the service box, but be able to hit 10 in a row down the tee, 10 in a row wide, and have that kind of muscle memory. But like you said, there's a difference again of actually doing that in a match. All right, Hanisch serving with a new ball. Just took a practice serve there. Oh! Nice little scout shot there by Lalic, getting the reach.
And that just shows you how good Hanisch's hands were. She just went over there and, set her paddle and let the ball rebound off, came up with an incredible looking volley.
15 all.
Even though they're coming back from holiday, Jerry, you just see the feel that you get from Hanisch and Zubori here, and you see Fleur Hanisch and her bounce, and she has her routines, her rituals. She starts a point with purpose. She doesn't serve till she's good and ready to make a really good serve. She's so deliberate in it.
Right. It's a very good observation, Patty. Everything about Hanisch is prepared. She knows her game, but she's put the time in. In every aspect of her game, she has put the time in, and really is a true professional in the sport. And it comes down to just taking care of all the little things that you need to be ready to compete, and it's really about getting yourself ready, not so much worry about who you're playing, but you be ready yourself. And there's a lot of the pros on the tour over the years have just added that professionalism to their game. And it's really great to see. Such backhand off the deck by Lalic. I would look to see as she plays more and more points, she vary the height of her shot. I mean, obviously, she's got to get it over the net, but look for higher targets too, different spots.
Advantage, Enica Lalic.
Big point here for Enica Lalic. Keep this close. That's a smart shot by Zubori. Didn't give Enica a chance to recover.
A shout out to, we referred to Elements a little earlier. They a women-owned company. There was a need for a little variety in you keep warm when you play platform tennis, which is traditionally a winter sport, and the company Elements came up with a great, clever, beautiful designs, real clever. Teams can get logoed, and they are a local sponsor for this first inaugural cup here, as is Sport House. And we know a little bit about Sport House, our former announcing buddy Mark Fischel, and some paddle players you may have heard of named Parsons and Patricio, and who else, Jerry? Mr. Wanabaraya. They've teamed up and opened a beautiful facility. I know you've been up there, Jerry. Padel courts. What do they have going up on there?
Yeah, actually, I went to the opening, and it's very impressive. It's a great facility. They've got padel courts, pickleball courts. They've got golf simulators. They've got a very nice hangout lounge, a beer wall, and you can actually order food if you're going to hang out, which it's really lends itself to just a great social, athletic environment. And a bunch of us went back and played a couple of days later, and we just had a blast. It was so much fun. Because I couldn't walk for 2 days afterwards, but it was really a lot of fun playing with everybody. But yeah. All right, Hanisch Zubori up 4-3 in this opening set. And so far, it looks like weather conditions have. Yeah, so far looks like the weather conditions have held off, which is great.
They're lucky they're not on the other side of 95, where it's becoming a winter wonderland today.
Hopefully it holds off for a bit longer so they can get through. All right, Roxy Enica going to the sidearm serve to answer your question, Patty.
The other thing I wouldn't be surprised is if you see Zubori or Hanisch on each other's return of serves just move in on that Enica underhand serve, because it looks like, Enica's volleying up and sort of making a reach to get those shots, kind of an ideal opportunity, for the partner of the returner to move in and take the ball out of the air.
You see, and that talking about the blitz, one of Hanisch's trademark shots is to lob high and blitz in between those. That's hasn't had an opportunity yet to use that play. You see Zubori looking for the ball in the middle.
Right, and with the height of Lalic, Jerry, that's going to make it tough for Hanisch, on that play, because Lalic, like we said, because of her height, you can see right back there was a decent lob. She went 2 steps behind the service line like it was nothing with her reach. But it was something because it produced an error on the very next shot. So that's the point. You get your opponents a little beyond that service line, you just create a little opening for yourself.
You see that change of serve from Enica. She went back to the push low and got the return of serve error from Zubori, because it changes the height that the ball comes up for them to return serve. You can see now how effective that drop shot becomes now that the temperature has dropped. I mean, you can have a lot more opportunity to hit a winning drop shot, because that ball stays low and just dies. Nice hold off the back screen by Hanisch. There she comes.
Jerry, when you say that, nice hold, can you explain that?
Well, she sets her paddle early, so her paddle is back before the ball bounces, and then the ball went into the back screen, so she held it and then went down the line. She didn't swing early, so she disguises where she can place that backhand off of the back screen. Because of her preparation is so early. There it is again. I mean, she can hold it, she can lob it or drive it, but she can also change the placement of her shot. It's all due to her early preparation and positioning herself so that when she strikes the ball is between her and the net. It's not next to her or behind her.
Yeah, when I hear you, and a lot of, we'll talk about, players have the ability to hold a shot, and it just means, it's just not one continuous motion. And as an opponent to a player who plays and has that ability to hold their shot, it's off-putting, and that's how they can make each other look bad and break each other down. If you are predictable in the beginning and the ending of your motion, it's much easier to read, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Yep. Happy New Year to Megan. Pizzo is out there enjoying the action, Jerry, and she's a player out at Essex Hunt Club. Loves watching Team Lalic.
I'm sure. Overhead by Enica got Hanisch a little bit turned around, so 30 all. Zubori is serving to close out this first set.
Jerry, you see the excitement right there from Hanisch Zubori? That was a huge point.
Yeah.
And, they could feel it. They knew how critical it was, and that was why they were so joyful when they won it.
Well, they have an awareness. They have an awareness of where they are in the match. That's one of the level separators, I think, of top players. They're not going to throw away a couple of quick unforced errors. And see the break on that spin off of the deck from Enica? Wow. Fabulous overhead. Yeah, having that awareness of that point score of keeping the pressure on, of knowing where they are in the match. And Hanisch and Zubori have that.
And my point is, Jerry, we're not in the third set, deep in the third set, but we're in the first set, and that was a critical point in this first set. And to your point, I think champions play the score.
It's good.
I think some people, they always say, well, shouldn't you play loose? Shouldn't you hit your shots? And I'm like, yeah, you've got to do that, but within what the scoring where you stand, how much of a threat your opponents are on that very next point, et cetera, et cetera. A lot factors into it.
Yes. Zubori hitting really smart overheads off of these deeper lobs from Enica, not trying to go for too much angle and just getting that ball back deep. And that gives them the first set, 6-3. And we'll have more paddle when we return after the break right here on the APTA YouTube channel presented by My Paddle.
First, we were a little intimidated, the robot machine, but it was pretty easy, user-friendly tool to get reps in.
What's helpful with the trainer is that the ball is being, fed to us, where he can visually see it and correct us.
All right, those who are on the dots, I want you guys to see the position of the players at net. So once Val gets pushed out wide, okay, we want to see Aaron sliding over and looking to cover.
Well, I like that you could work on different shots. You can work on corner screens or you can work on the lobs, you can work on...
All right, so welcome back. We're just starting the second set. Hanisch Zubori, #1 seeds for the tournament. Took the first set 6-3 over Enica and Lalic, and the rain is really starting to come down hard right now. So we'll see if that factors in. Those low lobs, you're going to see a lot more slashing and maybe get the ball to hydroplane a little bit. And you see, Patty, take a look at that solid crowd there who's braving the elements to get close up to the live play.
Yeah, I love the play. I love the theater kind of feel here, up close and personal, for those of you who are able to go to Rye in person today, to the Coverley Club. For everyone else, you get to see it here on the screen, and it's going to be a winter wonderland. Hopefully it's a little more snow than rain. And Jerry, we started off this match with 4 straight breaks of serve. There's no way that's going to happen with rain.
No.
It becomes a server's game now.
Yep, and you really just need to put a little bit of underspin on it, and that ball will be difficult. They'll have to step in and block it back early. One of the few unforced errors that we've seen off of Lalic with her overhead, and then she just stopped moving her feet and just sent that long reach arm up to the ball and too far off the net. See, these are the points that I was talking about. Up 40-15, up 40 love.
Can't miss an overhead right there is your point, I think.
Right. You can't. You've got to take care. So we all know the momentum swing in paddle doesn't
These
take
are all
much.
championship. All these women are champions. They know how to play with pressure, and there's just times, and top players relish the pressure in the moment. You don't want to just make it harder on yourself if you don't need to.
Right. All right. First game goes to Enica and Lalic. Mention here that we talked a little bit about Zubori being the director of rackets at the Country Club of New Canaan in Connecticut, and Florentina Hanisch is the head women's paddle professional at the Plainfield Country Club in New Jersey. This is Zubori serving. That's Roxy Enica is the director of rackets at the New Canaan Field Club in New Canaan, Connecticut.
We hear a lot about the growth of pickleball. We hear a lot about the growth of padel, and this game just platform tennis hit a stride years ago when all of a sudden we had the influx of all these international players. We were talking about it a little bit between the matches. And do you want to talk a little bit about that, Jerry, and the expertise and high-level racket skills they've brought into the game and changed the game?
They did. I mean, you've got players like Elisa Lalic off the tour. She's from Ukraine. Her mother is a top coach. Runs a tennis academy there in Ukraine, and right now she's actually, takes the orphans to her academy and gives them a feel of some normalcy, during the day. And her father was a boxer and a wrestler, and her sister's also a top tennis player. So comes from a very athletic background and a strong tennis background. Her partner, Roxy Enica, from Romania, top tennis player herself. And Zubori, Serbia. Grew up playing with Djokovic, so she's got some good practicing partners in there. And I think also went on fields when she was in France, so that's where she hits those shots between her legs.
Okay, but not only did she play with Djokovic, you got to tell them where they practiced.
Oh, in an empty swimming pool.
In an empty swimming pool because they couldn't get on the limited number of courts, so they had no access. And that's where Djokovic learned, to hit straight ahead a lot.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
Really, really tremendous. And then you've got Florentina Hanisch, who grew up in Brazil. Played on the tour, played college tennis, so high-level tennis players come into the game and have all got big platform tennis teaching jobs now.
Yeah, it's great to, when you look around the country, Jerry. You were out there in the early goings, when there were very few female rackets pros who got the head pro jobs and all that, and certainly the growth of the game has really opened up the profession and let all these clubs see the light on the value of having these leading women leading their programs.
Yeah, it's been a fabulous growth in that area. It's wonderful for women to be able to have a career. A couple of unforced errors here. Let's see which serve Enica's. Yep, the push low one. Oh, that is just a beautiful return of serve speed. So that was the right calibration, so they weren't able to run it down, but also the placement. It was higher over the net. They go up 2-1, Hanisch Zubori in the second set.
Jerry, we talk about when it's raining and, how difficult it is to break serve. It wasn't so difficult right there for Hanisch Zubori. They definitely keyed in on a strategy of taking advantage of that. It's lack of pace and lack of depth, it seems, with this underhand serve from Enica right now. And, I would think Enica, with the wet conditions, would hit a spin serve of any kind with more spin versus worrying about keeping the ball low.
Yeah, I think it's probably a difficult transition to go from low to back to your overhead serve. Would be my guess. Not feeling the confidence and doesn't want to risk throwing in too many faults.
But, one break in this set early on is gigantic for Hanisch and Zubori. Great return, great pickup.
Yeah, good pickup, and then smart play for Hanisch Zubori to just give up the net. They didn't want to be caught with their feet mid-court. You see how the ball almost slowed down there for Zubori? Again, it's from her preparation is so early that she had it seemed like minutes to adjust to the spin of Enica's slash. Whoa.
Great point, Jerry. Floor Hanisch serving on a Zubori's up at the net, her partner. You always know floor. She's got the bounce step every single time. The exact same routine like we talked about on her serve. And Roxy Enica's in the ad court on the far side, and that's Lalic out of the two court on the far side. Can't make overhead errors, Jerry.
And getting a hug for it.
I don't ever remember any partners hugging me when I missed an overhead. I remember some opponents giving me a high five.
Well, that's funny.
That's just positive mojo from your partner, that's all.
Oh, they absolutely know each other inside and out. There's just a calmness about Zubori's play this season that I really like. She's got all the flashy shots, but this season she's shown a willingness to just enjoy building the point and looking for opportunities. And it's, you know, it's basically she gets disappointed if the point ends too soon now. It's just a big sign of the growth of her game. Hanisch has always kind of had that much longer, where she'll build the point. It's nice to see.
Right, you didn't like that first set. Zubori just played effortless paddle, really peaceful. Didn't force anything.
Right. She's just very calm. Well, there we go. Wiping her paddle on her inner shirt. It's good. So based on the temperature, you know, the paddle can start icing up at this point, and then you can't obviously feel the ball on your paddle. It slides off.
Yeah, so big game right here for Lalic. Must hold. Down 6-3 in that first set. Zubori and Hanisch are giving nothing away. No unforced errors. Tough task right here for ahead of Lalic and Enica to come back in this match. And they're not playing lights out, Jerry. They're just not missing anything.
Right. You're not seeing any, you know, razzle dazzle. You're not seeing any tweeters. Just playing solid, basic paddle and getting the errors. And that's really, especially as these kind of conditions where the court is wet, you know, that ball is not going to bounce up as much. So you really have to just play solid, consistent. Good job. It was the right shot to hit, just needed to move forward. But Hanisch doing a good job getting those lobs up deep. Anika's looking to punish any short lob that she can with a variety of her spin overheads. Oh. Careful. Going hard into Lalic's backhand side. Came up with an unbelievable volley.
Head up to Carol Ewerton from Montclair Golf Club, one of our umpires for this event, along with Mike Yahimski. Carol's has been involved for about 5 or 6 years with the APTA and does a wonderful job up there in the chair. Everyone enjoys having Carol. She's a ton of fun. Fellow Rutgers grad from way back.
Yeah, nice to have all these quality umpires on the tour. All right, the lad'll make Enica smile again. Gets to hit that slash.
Hey, Jerry. In collaboration with the APTA, Fusion is at the forefront of personalized gear and apparel. Backed by a team of seasoned industry experts, we provide exclusive access to high-end products from top-tier retail brands, all poised for customization with your club logo, team name, or corporate branding. Our streamlined approach guarantees a hassle-free shopping experience complemented by custom online storefronts and swift ordering. Visit www.gearbyfusion.com and let Fusion seamlessly weave your branding into elite merchandise. Thanks, Dana Parsons, big part of helping Fusion, Jody, Randy. Those guys do a great job. Big help for a lot of big events run by the APTA. Speaking of Fusion, shout out to Fusion and Volley for being the APTA sponsor for this season, and a special shout out for our local sponsors for this event. Jerry, want to talk about our local sponsors?
We can't thank them enough for being involved in this. I know you have the list right there in front of you.
Yeah, you've been to one of the places. One is Elements, those great gloves, the foul weather gear. We love those Elements, and you talked a little bit earlier about the effort with
Sports House.
The Sport House. And it's critical for these tournaments to get on the APTA tour. They need to reach out and get sponsors, and there is prize money involved on the tour in all 16 tour events, and can't thank our national and local sponsors enough for their support.
Yeah, it really does make a huge difference.
3-4-2, Enica Lalic. What do you pray for right now besides a dry court, Jerry?
Well, that's exactly, you can see the difference now that the rain has really picked up and that ball is skipping off the court. So when you're receiving like this serve, they've got to make sure they step in early, and if you're serving, you want to put as much spin on the ball as you can.
You see Enica went with the sidearm again, Jerry. She hits that heavy spin, just kind of like her roller. The ball got a little too low even for Roxy Enica to pull that one off. And I'm just saying, Jerry, this is obviously a critical game. Enica tries that shot, misses, throws in a fault to follow. That's rough.
Yeah.
Tough way to start a must-hold game.
Yep, it's just the speed of play comes into place now. And Enica on their service game is just too quick. They have the advantage because they're serving and they're at net, so they're going to have the opportunity to hit some spin overheads, keep that ball deep and low.
They may need a switch here, get Enica over and let her hit some spins, because she definitely has much more spin variety than Lalic is comfortable hitting at all.
Lalic needs to get her grip over a little bit more continental.
3 great points here for Hanisch Zubori to go up 5-2.
And that's the level separator that we have spoken about earlier in the match. It's just taking care of those points when it's the score. I mean, it's a big difference to 5-2 and 4-3, and you can see it's really pouring right now. So just trying to hit those 2 slash backhands from below the level of the net. It's not a high percentage play. Better to close the net, volley the ball back straight and deep. Wait for another opportunity. I'm very impressed, Patty, by how many spectators are braving the elements just to be close, to see the play.
There's nothing like watching paddle up close and in person, Jerry, as you know. It's so fun. I mean, we both, our time has passed being able to compete and play this wonderful sport, but it's fun to talk about it and watch. But, when you get to watch this in person, it's a different game, and you have such appreciation for their skills and artistry out there.
The added spin that Zubori put on that overhead, really rotating her shoulders, was enough to make the ball jump. And Enica had a tough time controlling it off of her paddle. high lob. Again, I can't notice that. I mean, the calmness of Zubori. She's just not in a rush to hit anything but solid play. Totally focused. Oh, nice spot.
40-30.
Little spark there from Lalic.
15-30, Jerry, in this game? I think.
I didn't hear Mike.
I mean, if Carol were up in that chair, we would have heard her. But I think it is 15-30. Carol would be up there with a rain hat on.
Oh, that ball hydroplaned straight up.
See, that's why Enica's got to get herself to the left of the two players at the net and just hit as many overheads as she has any opportunity to hit, Jerry. I think it's their only way back into this match.
Yeah, she got a lot of variety spins that she can hit.
Enica Lalic.
The other thing, Jerry, is Lalic is inexperienced in terms of match play and competitive play, and hasn't probably played that many rain matches against the likes of, Zubori and Hanisch, where they can hit that spin, and you can see it's breaking her down a little bit.
Yeah, no, you do. You can't cancel those practice matches in the rain. You gotta get out there when it's raining. Just get used to the elements.
Hall of Famer Scott Manzinger of the amazing team of Manzinger Goodspeed, our buddy Flip Goodspeed. Manzinger, legend has it, it's the truth. He used to wet the court for practice, Jerry, so that he could practice. I heard that they'd wet the court and he'd get people to serve to him so that, he could practice in wet conditions, because there weren't too many people who answered the call from Scott saying they wanted to go out in the rain to practice.
Yeah, it's true. He did. I also remember an interview, I think, of Hughes and Powers when they were early on in their career and they had lost a match in the rain, and they both said they don't play enough. They don't practice enough in the rain. They didn't play enough, so they didn't really quite handle it properly. So it is different conditions. It's wet and it's cold.
Again, but there you saw the early prep, and you saw Zubori look like she had 3 seconds before she got to make a choice what she wanted to do with that ball.
You see some unforced errors now coming in off of Zubori's paddle. Up 5-3.
I mean, it almost feels like they have a little momentum, Jerry.
Yeah, but Enica Lalic want to hang around and force a third set.
You can see the heaters are doing a good job, Jerry. They're starting to dry up that court inside the baseline on the near side. And for those of you who don't know platform tennis, the surface is a gritty surface, and it's such in a way so that by design you can play in the snow and the rain, and the heaters underneath help kind of dry the water or the rain or snow off pretty quickly if they're working well, and hopefully we see a lot more more dry patches out here. fewer unforced errors just because the ball hits and skids. Jerry, is it an unforced error if you miss from the baseline on an overhead hit to you with spin? Does that count?
I think it
Wait,
does. Yeah.
Okay.
I think,
You do? I feel like it doesn't count as much. It's not as bad. It's like 0.5 an unforced error.
I mean, it's still a skill that you have to have. You know, I look at it and says you have to know how to handle. Oh, we hate to see that.
Hope she did not rip her pants, the matching pants.
Yeah, she didn't
she's
hurt
okay.
her knee. Foot went out
she's okay.
behind her.
So there's a dry patch in front of her, but clearly not under her. Big momentum swing, Jerry.
That was a big game for Enica Lalic to hold there, and you know Zubori just that's the first game that I've seen her come off the boil and just made a couple of quick unforced errors. So we'll see what Enica and Lalic can do here on the returner serve. They've got to put these returner serves in play.
An outstanding shot of the rain.
Yeah.
Zubori trying to serve out the match here.
See how energized Enica and Lalic are. Handle that ball and serve hydroplane off the deck. Good hands.
Jerry, as you know from Ted Lasso, it's all about belief. You got to believe, and now Enica Lalic kind of feeling it. I think they believe all of a sudden.
Yeah, and Zubori's starting to rush. You've got to get that speed of play back. Lalic's doing a good job handling that. That ball is definitely skipping. Great slash overhead by Enica.
This is kind of shocking all of a sudden, Jerry. I thought we were going to be, you know, I was going to get an early dinner. You're going to get an early lunch. I don't think so.
And another big slash overhead. I mean, can you see the way the ball is breaking off the court and then breaking on the screen? That's really tough. Definitely can't have any offense off of a shot like that. You're just trying to keep alive. Hanisch and Zubori just clawing their way back into this game. And Enica Lalic still got a game point to tie this second set up 5-all.
We're taking a lot of time. Forced to, but almost a very good thing for her. Maybe not a very good thing.
Yeah.
So New Canaan Field Club. They're all watching. Everybody's watching, and they're a little bummed right there because I thought Zubori had the right amount of time, and I looked for her to put a beautiful serve in there. Not the case, but huge break for Lalic and Enica here. They have, they're just like. Nothing seems to have changed, but all of a sudden everything changed, Jerry. And it was just a couple, the heavy rain definitely on the court allowed some Enica and Lalic to get some errors, like, out of Zubori and Hanisch. And all of a sudden, it looked like they lost a little bit of their confidence, and Lalic and Enica gained a lot of confidence all of a sudden.
Well, the confidence that I saw there was just the combination of what was just shown on the replay was Enica with her return to serve down the line, higher over the net, getting that by, got the weak return, and her second shot followed up, with that slash overhead. That's the kind of point she needs to put together, and that does a lot for her confidence. Not just looking for one shot to win the point, but consecutive shots building the point.
Big return to serve right there. Yeah, I would just love to see Lalic accelerate as she hits that roller overhead, Jerry. She's kind of moving. Looks like she's got her hand over a little bit on her grip. I think she needs to accelerate more as she hits it.
That's just a phenomenal overhead by Enica. Hanisch had no play on that ball, just hit that side screen and dropped. She's serving to go up 6-5. Doing a good job getting that lob up higher and deeper. Yep. Good overhead. Tough. That ball, is breaking off of that back screen. Hanisch had her momentum going one way and she wasn't able to change direction. So Enica and Lalic have put themselves in a position go up the second set. We might be looking at 3 sets, Patty. Let's see what Hanisch and Zubori can do here. The advantage is definitely with the net team.
Yeah, just a ton of credit to Lalic and Enica here. Just sort of, not doing anything overly impressive, I wouldn't say, but they're fighting here, and that's what I'd love to see. They're staying in here and getting some opportunities, getting some shorter lobs in the rain. It's hard for Zubori and Hanisch to dictate play off of lobbing on a wet court, Jerry. And I think that's kind of the difference here, where we're so used to seeing beautiful lobbing and setting up, from Zubori and Hanisch as a team. But really hard to dictate play with lobbing in the wet weather.
Yeah, you've got like a third player on the court.
And the third player's not on your team.
It's not. You've got to figure out a way to work with it. It's important that Hanisch and Zubori stay calm and not feel like they have to rush. Enica and Lalic just play solid, consistent paddle. Don't give away any free points by trying anything too big. Keep the pressure on Hanisch and Zubori. Good calling by Hanisch, nice and early, letting Zubori know that she's got that overhead covered. Zubori can just stay still and keep her eyes forward. Zubori switch, put Zubori on the left, take him close to the overheads. Yeah. Really tough to handle that hard slash ball that's hit right at you deep. All right, tie break. So, Patty, we're about to see where the self-belief and confidence level is right now from both teams.
Real fast before we head into the second set tiebreaker, Sue Abley out of, I think Sue plays at a couple different clubs in the Marshtown area. I think the Field Club. Sue's a great gal, a lot of fun, and she wonders, at what point, Jerry, do they stop playing with the rain?
They don't stop playing with the rain unless it is so dangerous. I mean, lightning, thunder, lightning, absolutely. Everybody comes off, but I don't ever remember, unless the court is just unplayable. Showing good patience here, just waiting for the right shot, and Zubori just added an extra bit of juice on that overhead when the lob was a little bit shorter. And that's really just what you're waiting for.
From Zubori there. Enica Lalic. A mini break in this tiebreaker. Is it a mini break, Jerry, or a teeny break? I'm not sure. But it's a break. It's cute. It's a big point. It's big.
It's huge because the advantage clearly is with the team that's serving.
Roxy Enica serving up 3-1 tiebreaker. Second set. Was out.
Yep, just long.
Interesting that she stuck with the underhand serve right there, Jerry, and just went for a little tiny bit too much here, but Zubori's drilled a couple returns off that underhand serve, so she was trying to protect her partner a little bit there, I think.
Trying to keep that ball deep in the box.
Yeah, the match started with a lot of overheads from Zubori and Hanisch over to that at-court side to Enica, kind of testing her patience over there and kind of going back to that play, it looks like, in this tiebreaker.
Yeah, it's really important, you know, in a close match that both players are on the same page with their tactics.
Yep, and you start out of the match and you knew Lalic can deliver off two-handed backhand or her forehand and has wingspan, so the play was over to Enica to test her, and you kind of go right back with that, as kind of a conservative approach here in the tiebreaker.
You see Hanisch chose to stay back there on that return, waited to see. As soon as Zubori got her paddle on that volley and got it back deep, she went back into net. So just constantly making adjustments.
The mini break has been given back. Too fast, Jerry. Keep saying it. Speed of play. That was just too fast right there. All of a sudden, a couple tournament championship points here for Zubori and Hanisch.
Get off of that slash overhead, and Enica got caught. Zubori were able to hold off the push, the late second set push by Enica and Lalic at 6-3, 7-6. So we took, that's a good effort by Enica and Lalic. We've seen a lot of growth in their game. And even though they'll be disappointed that they didn't win, they should be happy with the progress that they've made. And Hanisch and Zubori again showed why they're the #1 team in the country. And it's such a level separating skill, I think, amongst those top players is the speed of play and being able to recognize the speed of play. And I think we're going down court for an interview
With
right away.
Cabana.
Yeah, our APTA president is trying to figure out which camera angle to use. That'll be good. So as soon as we're ready to go, we'll throw it down to the winners.
To the first ever Milton Point Cup APTA Tour event. We are so excited that the Coakley Club hosted. I want to thank the two gyms, Sasha, Andrea, Sean, the APTA staff, everybody that made this tournament possible. Of course, Fusion, our sponsor, Volley. This was a great tournament. I have to say, I didn't get a chance to watch you guys, but I finally been on the court. But you guys played in the good weather, and now I know this was a tough match. You guys are up 5-2, and then came back and won the tiebreakers. 2 match points. So tell us a little bit about today and the match.
It was an interesting match, tough, with the conditions trying to figure out. I think it was more errors than usual, but we all knew there was an issue in the conditions, so just trying to figure out what to do. High lobs, low lobs, no lobs. But we're glad we could pull it off. I think we played really well when the conditions were drier, when it was really about paddle. We felt really good. And then, when the court becomes so fast and, there's not much in your control, then it becomes a little bit like a penalty, penalty shutout in soccer. So we managed to somehow pull it off and stay calm. But before we continue, I just want to say that this was really well organized. Great job, everyone. Westchester County, this is a group effort, so many clubs, so many people. Thank you for staying out here in this weather. This is really, really nice of you. I don't know if I would be doing that for anyone else, but thank you. And I would like to give a shout out to my members from New Canaan. I guess they're missing practice on Monday because they're probably going to get sick. And thank you so much. I think it was less about the match we want to talk about, but I just want to tell thank you to APTA, Tierney, and everyone else.
Congratulations, ladies. I want to turn it over to Jim McFarland, tournament director. Thanks again. Congrats.
Well, thank you so much. I just want to say thanks to all the fans that came out. It's been a great event. First event, so we had the top players. We had a great turnout today, and we live streamed our first event, so we're very happy about that. We want to thank Enos for the great gift and the sponsor group. I want to thank the Sports House. I want to play some great padel. Put up to Norwalk, Connecticut. Say hi to Ron there. Also, we want to thank the APTA for all the guidance they gave us. And we want to thank the Coakley board for believing in us and sponsoring this event. We appreciate that. And our two partner clubs, the General Stroke Club and AYC, we couldn't have done this without you and helping do more bigger things in the future. Thank you. Now, I turn it over to Sasha Badurski, our
very good question. So, of course, it's our first Milton Point Cup of the history. And of course, there's finalists, there's winners. And I want to first congratulate the finalists for a great game. Everybody, let's give them a round of applause. And here's your trophies. And for the winners of Milton Point Cup 2024, Florentina, Hanisch, and Anna Zubori. Guys, thanks everybody for coming, and I'll see you next year. Of course, we can forget our empires. Everybody give a round of applause for our empire. We can hop down, don't do that.
Well, that's a very good wrap up there, and what a fantastic job Coakley Club did for their first event on the tour this year, setting the tone. And a big shout out again to our sponsors, the APTA membership, the APTA national sponsors, Volley and Fusion, and our local sponsors, Element and the Elements and the Sports House.
Jerry, tough match, tough conditions there at the end, but number one seeded team came through, Hanisch, Zubori. Another really strong performance from them, and can't wait for the second half. We're headed to the Midwesterns, and like you said earlier, we've got Midwesterns where we've got the Atlantic Classic back in Jersey. Then we're out to Detroit, Short Hills back in Jersey. Then we go out to Indianapolis, Philly, Nationals. Get ready. It's going to be a great second half of the season.
All right, and safe travels, everybody, in that winter wonderland. And that is a wrap from us, and thank you to My Paddle.
At first we were a little intimidated, the robot machine, but it was pretty easy, user-friendly tool to get reps in.
What's helpful with the trainer is that the ball is being, fed to us, where he can visually see it and correct us.
All right, those who are on the dots, I want you guys to see the position of the players at net. So once Val gets pushed out wide, okay, we want to see Aaron sliding over and looking to cover.
Well, I like that you can work on different shots. You can work on corner screens or you can work on the lobs. You can work on return of serve, particularly. That's something I feel like we could never get enough work on, return of serve, and this is a tool that we could use to really work on that shot, which is such an important shot.
After today, it really did make me feel even more comfortable. I tried it a month ago and I really liked it, but I still felt a little intimidated. But Blake did a great job explaining it to us, and also the software that comes with it, and we can adjust it to any level. So I would feel very comfortable using it. In fact, I'm definitely going to use it. I need a lot of work on my game.